Unbelievable plastic surgery. Disasters of black actors. What if the pursuit of beauty turned into a nightmare? In Hollywood, where every flaw is magnified, some black actors risked everything to reshape their looks, only to end up unrecognizable. From surgeries that spiraled out of control to life-threatening procedures done in secret, these transformations left fans stunned and careers forever altered. The results weren't glamorous, they were unbelievable. Are these choices a bold act of self-expression, or cautionary tales of fame's crushing pressure? Stick around as we reveal the most shocking plastic surgery disasters ever. And before we dive in, hit like, share, and subscribe to Legends of Black Excellence. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson's musical genius is unquestionable. From the moment he moonwalked across the stage, he redefined what it meant to be a global superstar. His voice choreography and unmatched artistry turned him into the king of pop, a cultural force whose albums like Thriller and Bad shattered records. Yet for all his talent, Michael's changing appearance became as infamous as his music was legendary. What began as a medical necessity spiraled into one of the most discussed physical transformations in modern entertainment history. In the late 1970s, Michael broke his nose during a dance rehearsal, an injury that affected his breathing. Surgery corrected the issue, but it also marked the beginning of a long journey into cosmetic procedures. Through the 1980s and 1990s, his nose appeared slimmer with each passing year, sparking speculation about repeated rhinoplasties. His cheekbones grew more prominent, his chin more pointed, and his once rounded features became sharper and more angular. At the same time, the dramatic lightening of his skin tone shocked fans worldwide. While Michael confirmed he had vitiligo, a skin condition that destroys pigmentation, critics accused him of bleaching. The media rarely believed his explanations, often reducing him to tabloid headlines rather than celebrating his artistry. By the mid-1990s, his face bore little resemblance to the young boy who once sang with the Jackson 5. Even his family members admitted they sometimes struggled to recognize him. Fans debated endlessly, was it self-expression, insecurity, or industry pressure that pushed him toward such drastic change? Do you think Michael's transformation was a matter of personal choice, or was it the crushing weight of fame that left him no escape? What made Michael's situation even more tragic was his silence. In interviews, he would deny or downplay the extent of his surgeries, even as the evidence was visible to the world. Plastic surgeons began using him as a case study of excess, a reminder of the dangers of chasing perfection without boundaries. Despite all this, Michael's legacy in music never faded. His influence on pop culture remains unmatched, yet the endless speculation about his appearance overshadowed parts of his career. In the end, Michael Jackson's story is both inspiring and heartbreaking. A man whose brilliance gave joy to millions, but whose pursuit of physical reinvention left the world questioning whether even legends can escape the burden of beauty standards. Lil' Kim. In the mid-1990s, Lil' Kim stormed onto the hip-hop scene with a confidence that shook the music industry to its core. Her debut album, Hardcore, went platinum, and she became known for daring lyrics, bold fashion choices, and a stage presence that could outshine anyone in the room. She wasn't just a rapper. She was a cultural icon celebrated for challenging double standards and embracing female empowerment at a time when women in hip-hop were rarely given center stage. Fans loved her unapologetic attitude and saw her as the embodiment of self-love and resilience. But behind the glamorous image was a very different reality. Lil' Kim has openly spoken about being in an abusive relationship where her partner constantly insulted her looks, telling her she was ugly and not enough. Those words cut deep, chipping away at the same confidence that fueled her career. What started with a single nose job quickly became a series of procedures. Over time, her nose grew thinner, her features sharper, and her skin tone lighter, leaving her almost unrecognizable compared to the woman on her early album covers. The transformation shocked longtime fans. For a generation that had admired Kim's message of bold authenticity, watching her alter herself so dramatically felt like a betrayal. The industry also shifted its focus. Instead of praising her verses or her ability to reinvent, fashion executives and audiences whispered about her changing appearance. Awards shows and red carpet events became less about her music and more about dissecting what surgery she might have had most recently. Do you think the public has been too harsh on Lil' Kim's choices, or is it fair for fans to feel disappointed when their idol no longer reflects the image that once inspired them? By the 2000s, her career momentum slowed. Attempts at comebacks were overshadowed by headlines about her looks rather than her sound. While Kim continued to record music and perform, the spotlight never returned to what it once was. Her journey stands as a painful example of how emotional scars can lead even the most confident stars into cycles of self-doubt and drastic decisions. Lil' Kim is still remembered as a trailblazer for women in rap. But her story also serves as a sobering reminder in an industry obsessed with image. The pressure to conform can erase the very individuality that made someone legendary in the first place. Khloe Kardashian. Khloe Kardashian entered the public eye as part of the reality TV empire that redefined celebrity culture. From the early days of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Khloe was portrayed as the outspoken sister, known for her humor, honesty, and willingness to be vulnerable in front of millions of viewers. But while Kim and Kourtney were often praised for their beauty, Khloe faced constant comparisons that painted her as the different one of the family. Tabloids labeled her the fat sister, and the cruelty of those words lingered, casting shadows over her confidence. In 2019, Khloe confirmed she had undergone a nose job, but fans and critics alike suspected that was only part of the story. Her face appeared to change dramatically over the years. Cheekbones higher, jawline sharper, lips fuller. What seemed like minor tweaks evolved into a transformation that sparked global conversation. Every new Instagram post became a detective game, with followers dissecting angles, filters, and potential procedures. The controversy wasn't just about looks, it was about trust. Khloe had built her brand around authenticity, often presenting herself as the real sister who embraced imperfections. Yet her changing appearance left fans questioning whether she was practicing what she preached. Workout videos and lifestyle promotions fueled the debate, with some praising her fitness journey, while others doubted that exercise alone explained the alterations. Do you think Khloe owed her fans complete honesty about her surgeries, or was it her right to keep such choices private? Despite the noise, Khloe remained successful. Her fashion line, Good American, became a multi-million-dollar brand, and her television appearances kept her firmly in the spotlight. Still, the scrutiny followed her everywhere. Interviews, red carpets, even casual paparazzi shots all became opportunities for the public to analyze her evolving face, rather than acknowledge her accomplishments. For Khloe, the challenge has always been balancing her professional success with the constant pressure of living under a microscope. She has openly admitted to struggling with body image, making her relatable to millions, yet her cosmetic choices often reignited the very criticism she sought to escape. Her journey highlights the impossible standards of celebrity culture, where no matter how much you change, someone will always demand more. Khloe Kardashian's story isn't just about surgery, it's about resilience, vulnerability, and the complicated relationship between self-image and fame. Vivica A. Fox. Vivica A. Fox was once the very definition of 1990s star power. With roles in blockbusters like Independence Day, Set It Off, and Kill Bill, she combined talent, charisma, and natural beauty in a way that made her unforgettable. She had the kind of magnetic screen presence that turned supporting roles into standout performances, and her glamorous red carpet appearances cemented her as one of Hollywood's most admired actresses. For years, Vivica seemed to defy age, maintaining a striking appearance well into her 40s and 50s. But Hollywood is notoriously unforgiving, especially to women. As the years passed, the pressure to stay youthful and camera-ready weighed heavily. Vivica admitted to undergoing cosmetic procedures initially, with subtle results. Yet as time went on, fans noticed changes that sparked debate. Her once soft features grew sharper, her cheeks looked fuller, and her skin appeared unnaturally tight. Instead of enhancing her natural radiance, critics argued the work left her looking artificial. The situation came to a head in 2024, when Vivica appeared on the Tamron Hall show. Her cheeks looked swollen and speculation erupted online. Was it a botched procedure, or simply temporary swelling after recent work? Memes spread rapidly and the internet turned her appearance into the subject of jokes, rather than focusing on her achievements. For someone who had spent decades building a career on talent, it was a painful reminder of how quickly public opinion can shift. Do you think audiences should judge celebrities for trying to maintain their looks? Or should we allow them the same privacy and dignity we'd want for ourselves? Vivica handled the backlash with grace, downplaying the incident and insisting the swelling was temporary. Still, the damage was done. Instead of celebrating her contributions to film and television, the media fixated on her face. It was a cruel twist for a woman who once represented strength and elegance on screen. Despite the criticism, Vivica has remained resilient. She continues to act, produce, and host, proving her value goes far beyond appearance. Yet her story illustrates the double standard in Hollywood. Men are allowed to age gracefully, while women often feel forced into a cycle of enhancements that can overshadow their true talents. Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson has always been more than just the youngest sibling of the Jackson dynasty. From her early days on Good Times to her breakout as a music superstar with albums like Control and Rit. And rumors of cosmetic surgery first surfaced in the 1980s when fans noticed her nose appearing slimmer than before. Janet admitted to one nose job, citing medical reasons related to breathing. Still, speculation persisted as her features continued to evolve over time. Observers claimed her nose looked increasingly narrow, her cheekbones sharper, and her jawline more defined. These changes invited endless comparisons to Michael, with critics pointing out that both siblings seemed to be reshaping themselves away from the Jackson family's natural features. The conversation around Janet's appearance grew louder in the 1990s and 2000s, especially as she dominated the charts with hits like That's the Way Love Goes and Together Again. Every red carpet and award show became an opportunity for fans and the media to dissect her face, rather than focus on her artistry. Do you believe the constant speculation about Janet's looks was fair? Or did it unfairly overshadow one of the most accomplished careers in music history? What makes Janet's story unique is her resilience. Unlike other celebrities whose surgeries became the centerpiece of their public image, Janet consistently shifted the spotlight back to her work. Even when rumors swirled, she delivered powerful albums, groundbreaking music videos, and unforgettable stage performances that reminded the world why she was a legend. Still, the whispers never disappeared. Each new appearance reignited debates about whether she had gone too far or whether her beauty was still natural. Janet's journey highlights the cruel paradox faced by many female stars. No matter how talented they are, society often reduces them to their looks. While her music and artistry remain untouchable, the speculation about her appearance became a permanent footnote in her story. Janet Jackson remains a legend, but her experience shows how fame can blur the line between admiration and relentless scrutiny. LaToya Jackson. LaToya Jackson grew up in the shadow of one of the most famous families in music history. While her siblings, especially Michael and Janet, soared to global superstardom, LaToya tried to carve her own niche with music books and reality television. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, she was known for her natural beauty, softer features, and a look that carried the unmistakable Jackson family resemblance. For a time, she seemed poised to build a successful career independent of her siblings' fame. But as the years passed, LaToya's appearance began to change dramatically. Much like Michael, her nose became increasingly narrow, her cheekbones higher, and her chin more pointed. Her skin tone also appeared lighter, sparking endless debates about whether she was following the same surgical and cosmetic path as her brother. Fans who remembered her early album covers could hardly reconcile them with her later public appearances, where the natural warmth of her face seemed replaced by a more sculpted, artificial look. Unlike Michael and Janet, LaToya did not have an equally strong body of work to deflect attention from her appearance. While Michael released Thriller and Janet released Rhythm Nation, LaToya's music never reached commercial success. Instead, her changing face became the story the media latched onto. Interviews, reality shows, and even her tell-all books were less about her career and more about speculation over her surgeries. Do you think LaToya's story shows how fame without strong artistic grounding makes a star more vulnerable to being defined only by their appearance? Her attempts to reinvent herself through television memoirs and stage appearances rarely escaped the cloud of curiosity surrounding her look. What should have been opportunities to showcase her personality and experiences were overshadowed by whispers and commentary about her resemblance or lack thereof to the rest of the Jackson family. In the end, LaToya Jackson became more of a cautionary tale than an entertainment powerhouse. Her journey highlights how the relentless pressure of beauty standards in Hollywood, combined with living in a family where appearance was constantly scrutinized, can push someone down a path of drastic transformation. LaToya may not have reached the heights of her siblings, but her story remains a striking example of how the pursuit of perfection can ultimately erase the very individuality that once made someone stand out. Toni Braxton. Toni Braxton has always embodied elegance. From the moment her rich, sultry voice filled the airwaves in the early 1990s with songs like Breathe Again and Another Sad Love Song. Yet even someone as accomplished as Toni wasn't immune to Hollywood's unforgiving beauty standards. Early in her career, fans began noticing subtle changes to her face, particularly her nose. Toni later admitted to undergoing a rhinoplasty, explaining that it was a personal choice meant to refine her features and boost her confidence. The surgery was not drastic, but to devoted fans the difference was obvious. What sparked discussion wasn't just the physical change, but the deeper question of why an already successful and strikingly beautiful woman felt the need to alter her appearance. The reactions were mixed. Some fans accepted the change as part of her journey, while others felt conflicted. This was the same woman whose music often inspired self-love and healing, yet she herself had turned to surgery to feel more secure. The contrast between her lyrical message and her personal decisions ignited conversation about the pressures celebrities face. Do you think Toni's choice reflects personal freedom, or is it proof that even the most successful artists can't escape society's expectations of perfection? Unlike other stars whose careers were derailed by excessive procedures, Toni navigated the situation with honesty and resilience. She acknowledged her surgery openly and refused to let the speculation overshadow her artistry. Her subsequent albums like Secrets and The Heat with Still Toni Braxton's story raises uncomfortable truths. If a woman with her voice, beauty, and fame still felt pressure to alter her appearance, what message does that send to everyday women facing the same societal expectations? Her experience underscores just how deeply the obsession with image runs in the entertainment world, often forcing even the most gifted artists to question their worth. K. Michelle. K. Michelle first made her mark with a voice that could cut straight to the heart. Known for her powerhouse vocals, unfiltered honesty, and fiery personality, she quickly built a name for herself in R&B and reality television. By the early 2010s, she had fans who admired her not only for her music, but also for her raw authenticity on shows like Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. But beneath her rising fame, K. Michelle carried a dangerous secret, a decision that would nearly end her career and her life. Like many women in the entertainment industry, K. Michelle felt pressure to enhance her body to match the exaggerated beauty standards celebrated in music videos and social media. In pursuit of curves, she turned to illegal silicone injections, often marketed as a cheap shortcut to the ideal figure. These injections weren't medical-grade fillers. They were industrial silicone, the same material used in construction and machinery administered by people with no proper medical training. At first, the results seemed to give her the look she wanted, but soon, the nightmare began. The silicone started shifting inside her body, hardening in some areas, causing chronic pain and sparking infections. She struggled to walk, her health deteriorated, and her ability to perform on stage was compromised. Instead of headlining concerts, she was facing emergency rooms and operating tables. In 1 year alone, she endured 13 surgeries just to remove as much of the toxic material as possible. Do you think the entertainment industry's obsession with body image pushes artists like K. Michelle into choices they might never make otherwise? The physical toll was devastating, but so was the impact on her career. Media outlets focused less on her music and more on her medical battles. What could have been a decade of steady growth in R&B became a cautionary tale about the dangers of unregulated cosmetic procedures. Yet in the midst of her struggle, Michelle chose to turn her pain into purpose. She spoke publicly about her experiences, warning other women against the same mistakes and using her platform to expose the hidden dangers behind cheap underground surgery practices. K. Michelle's story is heartbreaking, but it is also courageous. By laying bare the cost of her decisions, she transformed her personal tragedy into a public service announcement. Her journey serves as a stark reminder that the price of beauty when sought recklessly can be far greater than anyone expects. Seal Henry Olusegun, Olumide Adeola. Samuel, known worldwide simply as Seal, stands as proof that uniqueness can be more powerful than perfection. Born in London to Nigerian and Brazilian parents, he rose to international fame in the 1990s with hits like Crazy and the Grammy-winning Kiss from a Rose. His voice, deep and soulful, carried him into global superstardom, but it wasn't just his music that set him apart. It was his face, marked by visible scars. These scars weren't the result of failed cosmetic surgery. They came from discoid lupus erythematosus, an autoimmune condition that he developed as a teenager. The disease attacked his skin, leaving permanent marks across his cheeks and temples. In an industry where flawless looks are often treated as essential, Seal's appearance could have been seen as a barrier. Instead, he embraced it, allowing his scars to become part of his identity rather than something to hide. His refusal to conform to traditional beauty standards challenged the entertainment industry's obsession with perfection. For young performers, Seal's story is especially powerful. At a time when so many artists, particularly in pop and R&B, felt pressure to alter themselves through surgery, Seal proved that authenticity could be an advantage. Rather than seeking to erase what made him different, he leaned into it, transforming potential insecurity into a defining feature. Do you think Seal's decision to embrace his scars instead of pursuing surgery helped inspire a broader acceptance of diverse beauty in entertainment? Of course, living with lupus has never been easy. Seal has spoken about the physical and emotional toll of the disease, including the medical treatments and procedures required to manage it. Yet he never allowed those struggles to overshadow his artistry. When he stepped onto a stage, audiences didn't just hear a voice. They saw a man whose very presence told a story of resilience and strength. Seal's journey is the opposite of a plastic surgery disaster. In fact, it serves as a counterpoint to many stories in Hollywood. While others risked their health and careers chasing impossible standards, Seal turned what might have been considered a flaw into a symbol of individuality. His scars didn't diminish his star power, they amplified it, making him unforgettable in a world of carefully manufactured appearances. Tamika Tiny Harris. Tamika Tiny Harris first found fame in the 1990s as a member of the R&B group Xscape. With powerhouse vocals and smooth harmonies, the group became a staple of the era, delivering hits that still resonate decades later. Tiny's voice and personality made her a beloved figure among fans, and her later marriage to rapper T.I. expanded her presence in pop culture, especially through the reality show T.I. and Tiny: The Family Hustle. Yet over time, her appearance began drawing more attention than her music or her television career. Tiny shocked fans when she revealed she had undergone a rare and controversial procedure to permanently change her natural brown eyes to icy gray. The surgery, performed outside the United States because it was not FDA approved, came with extreme risks, including potential blindness. Though she achieved the striking look she wanted, many critics and fans were left stunned that she would endanger her sight for cosmetic reasons. The bold decision quickly overshadowed her talents, sparking heated debates about the price of beauty in Hollywood. But the eye color change was only one part of her transformation. Over the years, Tiny also underwent breast augmentation facial fillers and other enhancements that significantly altered her appearance. To longtime fans, the difference between the young woman on Xscape's album covers and the reality star on television was striking. Supporters praised her confidence, while critics argued that her choices reflected a dangerous obsession with aesthetics. Do you think it is empowering when celebrities like Tiny embrace dramatic cosmetic changes? Or does it send the wrong message to younger fans watching from the sidelines? What made Tiny's case unique was her unapologetic attitude. Unlike some stars who downplay or deny their procedures, she openly owned her decisions. She insisted that how she looked was her business, and she refused to apologize for making changes that made her feel good about herself. That level of confidence was admirable, even if many questioned the risks. Still, her journey illustrates the extreme pressures facing women in the entertainment industry. Even established stars with talent and recognition often feel pushed to modify their appearance to stay relevant. For Tiny, the gamble brought her criticism and controversy, but it also revealed her determination to live life on her own terms, no matter how high the stakes. Nene Leakes. Nene Leakes didn't just join the Real Housewives of Atlanta, she dominated. But as Nene's fame grew, so did scrutiny of her appearance. Viewers who remembered her expressive natural look in Season 1 began noticing changes over time. In 2010, Nene admitted to undergoing a nose job, claiming it was for her own confidence rather than public approval. The procedure gave her a more refined profile, but it also sparked debates about why someone already bursting with self-assurance would feel the need to change at all. Do you think Nene's surgery reflected genuine personal choice, or was it another example of Hollywood's pressure to conform to narrow beauty standards? The reality star didn't stop at her nose. Fans speculated about additional tweaks, from Botox to other facial adjustments, that made her look noticeably different over the years. Unlike many celebrities who dodge questions about cosmetic work, Nene addressed hers head-on, often joking about it before anyone else could. That self-deprecating humor softened the criticism, but it didn't silence it. Unfortunately, as Nene branched out into acting comedy and hosting gigs, conversations about her face sometimes overshadowed her genuine talent. Casting directors and audiences alike seemed more focused on her changing appearance than her comedic timing or stage presence. It was a frustrating shift for someone who clearly had the ability to go beyond reality TV. Despite the criticism, Nene remained unapologetic. She insisted her choices were hers alone, and she refused to let public opinion dictate her self-image. Her journey serves as both an inspiration and a cautionary tale. Even women with immense confidence and star quality can feel the weight of unrealistic standards in entertainment. Nene Leakes will always be remembered as one of reality television's most magnetic personalities, but her story also highlights how the spotlight can blur the line between self-expression and the relentless demand for perfection. Blac Chyna. Blac Chyna burst onto the scene as a video vixen with a look that seemed almost unreal. Her curves, confidence, and striking style made her one of the most sought-after faces in hip-hop videos during the 2010s. She capitalized on her fame by building businesses, launching cosmetics, and making appearances that kept her in the headlines. For a time, she was the embodiment of a living fantasy, unapologetically owning her brand and profiting from it. But the image that brought her fame was heavily manufactured. Chyna was open about her many enhancements, including breast implants and a Brazilian butt lift procedures that reshaped her body into exaggerated proportions. At first, these changes worked in her favor, making her stand out in a saturated industry. Yet over time, the procedures piled up, and what once looked glamorous began to appear unnatural. Her cheeks looked puffy, her lips swollen, and her figure so extreme that it became the punchline of online jokes. The scrutiny intensified when she entered into a highly publicized relationship with Rob Kardashian. Suddenly, every move she made and every shift in her appearance was under a microscope. Instead of being admired for her boldness, China was criticized for going too far. Memes circulated online, and her body became more of a spectacle than her business ventures. Do you think society unfairly punishes women like Blac Chyna for choices that male-dominated industries often encourage them to make in the first place? In a surprising twist, Blac Chyna shocked fans in 2023 by reversing many of her procedures. She underwent surgery to remove breast implants, dissolve facial fillers, and scale back on the extreme enhancements that had once defined her. For the first time in years, she appeared more natural, explaining that she wanted to be a healthier role model for her children. The transformation wasn't just physical, it was emotional. Chyna shared her journey on social media, documenting the pain, recovery, and relief of getting herself back. Cardi B. Cardi B's rise from Bronx stripper to Grammy-winning rapper is one of the most remarkable success stories in modern music. With her raw lyrics, magnetic personality, and business savvy, she built an empire that few could rival. Yet her journey to stardom wasn't just about bars and beats. It also included a cosmetic history that she has never shied away from sharing. Early in her career, while still working as a dancer, Cardi turned to illegal butt injections in a basement for just a few $100s. The unlicensed procedure used industrial silicone, a substance that could easily cause death if it traveled to the bloodstream. Cardi later admitted how reckless it was, confessing that she endured constant pain and discomfort, sometimes unable to sit properly. At the time, she felt pressured to compete with other dancers who had extreme curves, believing the procedure was necessary to survive in the industry. Later, with more money and access, she opted for breast augmentation and additional cosmetic work. While safer, these surgeries still carried complications, especially during her pregnancy with her daughter, Culture. Her implants caused pain, forcing her to balance recovery with the demands of early motherhood and a skyrocketing music career. Do you think Cardi's openness about her mistakes helps protect young women from repeating them, or does it normalize risky decisions in pursuit of beauty? Cardi has been brutally transparent about her choices, discussing them in interviews, lyrics, and even social media posts. Instead of hiding her past, she turned it into a teaching moment, warning others about the dangers of unsafe cosmetic procedures. Still, despite her honesty, critics often reduce her achievements to her body rather than her talent. It's frustrating considering her chart-topping singles, record-breaking albums, and cultural influence. Cardi B's story is not just about cosmetic missteps, it's about resilience, honesty, and growth. She transformed a dangerous decision into a platform to educate, proving that vulnerability can coexist with power. Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj crafted one of the most distinctive personas in hip-hop, a Harajuku Barbie with impossible curves, colorful wigs, and a fierce, lyrical flow. From her early mixtape days to dominating the charts with Super Bass and Starsh, Nicki embodied both fantasy and talent. Yet her carefully constructed image also sparked some of the most persistent debates about cosmetic enhancements in the industry. For more than a decade, speculation swirled around Nicki's body. Her hips widened, her buttocks appeared fuller, and her face looked more sculpted. Fans compared early photos to later ones and insisted she had undergone surgeries to achieve her exaggerated hourglass figure. Nicki rarely confirmed anything, choosing instead to tease about it in songs or dodge questions in interviews. The ambiguity became part of her mystique. Was she naturally gifted, surgically enhanced, or both? By 2023, Nicki finally opened up, admitting she had regrets about some of her choices. She reflected on how youth and industry pressures drove her to create an image larger than life, even when her natural talent was already enough. Her honesty marked a rare moment of vulnerability, contrasting with the confident bravado that defined her career. Do you think Nicki's influence empowered women to embrace bold self-expression? Or did it create an impossible standard that pressured fans to chase dangerous surgeries? What made Nicki's case complicated was her immense influence. Young women all over the world admired her look and sought to replicate it through cosmetic procedures, fueling an industry that thrived on unattainable ideals. Her body became more than just hers. It became a cultural standard, one that countless fans risked their health trying to match. And the Nicki Minaj's legacy is dual a trailblazer in music and a controversial symbol of modern beauty standards. Her story reminds us that even icons can wrestle with insecurity, and that influence comes with both power and responsibility. Tyra Banks. Tyra Banks was already redefining beauty standards long before she became a household name. As one of the first black women to grace the covers of Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition and GQ, she shattered barriers in a notoriously exclusive fashion industry. With striking features and a magnetic personality, Tyra's career skyrocketed in the 1990s, making her a global supermodel and later the face of America's next top model. But even she admitted she didn't feel completely secure in her appearance. Early in her career, Tyra underwent a rhinoplasty. Unlike many celebrities who concoct excuses, she was refreshingly candid, explaining she did it not for medical reasons, but because she wanted a more refined look that fit the industry's demands. The surgery was subtle, a refinement rather than a transformation, but it symbolized the immense pressure even the most beautiful women faced to conform to Eurocentric ideals. Her honesty set her apart. She never pretended to be naturally perfect, acknowledging that the modeling world often required reinvention. Yet her dual role on America's Next Top Model too. Do you think Tyra's transparency helped young women feel more empowered, or did it reinforce the very beauty standards she claimed to challenge? Despite the contradictions, Tyra turned her vulnerability into a brand. She transitioned from supermodel to businesswoman, talk show host, and producer, using her platform to spotlight issues of self-image. While her nose job never sparked the same scandal as other stars, it remains part of the broader conversation about how even icons aren't immune to the relentless pressure of perfection. Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy has spent more than 4 decades making audiences laugh. From his early days on Saturday Night Live to classics like Coming to America, Beverly Hills Cop, and The Nutty Professor, his legacy rests on comedic genius, not his appearance. Yet even Eddie found himself caught in whispers of cosmetic surgery rumors. Fans began noticing subtle differences in his face, smoother skin, refined features that led to speculation about possible procedures. Some suggested Botox, others a nose job or facial work. However, Eddie has never confirmed any cosmetic surgery, leaving most of these claims as unverified speculation. He has attributed his youthful appearance to genetics, good self-care, and a disciplined lifestyle. What's striking is that these rumors never truly affected his career. While other stars saw their reputations consumed by gossip about their faces, Eddie continued booking roles and commanding audiences' attention. His identity was never tied to looks. It was tied to talent, versatility, and the ability to embody multiple characters in a single film. Do you think Eddie's enduring success shows that raw talent can protect an artist from the scrutiny that derails others? Even in recent years, with roles in Dolomite Is My Name and The Coming to a Sequel, Eddie proved his comedic timing remains sharp. Whether or not he's ever had cosmetic work seems irrelevant when the world is too busy laughing at his jokes and celebrating his legacy. Countess Vaughn. Countess Vaughn's career began with promise. As a teenager, she won over audiences with her role on Moesha and later Teeth. Her bubbly personality, comedic timing, and natural charm made her a relatable figure for young viewers who grew up watching her on screen. She wasn't just funny, she could sing too, adding another layer to her talent. For many, Countess represented the joy and potential of young Black Hollywood. Behind the scenes, however, she was struggling with insecurities that would eventually lead to dangerous decisions. Facing constant pressure to look a certain way, Vaughn began experimenting with skin-lightening products. Unlike professional treatments, these were harsh, unregulated chemicals that burned her skin and caused permanent damage. The results were devastating, leaving scars, discoloration, and emotional wounds that were far harder to heal. As if that wasn't enough, she also chose to undergo illegal buttock injections, a procedure promoted as a cheap shortcut to curves. Instead of boosting her confidence, the injections brought on severe infections, chronic pain, and long-term complications. The once vibrant actress found herself sidelined by health issues, unable to fully focus on her career. Do you think the entertainment industry's obsession with looks makes young stars like Countess Vaughn feel they have no choice but to take dangerous risks? While her co-stars booked new projects and advanced in Hollywood, Countess was battling doctors and fighting to restore her health. In candid interviews, she later admitted her regrets, sharing her story as a warning to other women tempted by unsafe cosmetic shortcuts. What should have been a flourishing career became a painful lesson about the cost of giving in to external pressures. Countess Vaughn will always be remembered for her humor and warmth on screen, but her struggles are a sobering reminder that even rising stars can lose their way when image outweighs identity. LL Cool J. LL Cool J has been admired for decades not only for his music, but also for his seemingly ageless appearance. From his breakout in the 1980s with I Can't Live Without My Radio to his long-running role on NLL, has remained a cultural icon, combining rap legend status with mainstream acting success. But his youthful look has often sparked speculation. Fans noticed that his face barely seemed to age across the decades. Some whispered about possible nose work, Botox, or other cosmetic procedures. The rumors grew louder when people spotted a scar near his abdomen and mistakenly linked it to plastic surgery. LL shut those rumors down quickly, clarifying that the scar came from an appendix operation, not cosmetic work. He attributed his health and appearance to good genetics, a disciplined workout regimen, and taking care of his body. Unlike many celebrities who dodge such speculation, LL confronted it directly. His transparency earned him respect from fans who appreciated his honesty. Instead of letting rumors define him, he redirected the conversation back to his music, his acting, and his work ethic. Do you think LL's straightforward approach to addressing rumors is why fans continue to respect him more than most celebrities in similar situations? His career has never faltered under the weight of gossip. While critics debated possible procedures, he remained focused on performing recording and acting. That consistency has allowed him to age gracefully in the public eye, admired for what he does rather than how he looks. LL Cool J's story proves that sometimes the best way to fight cosmetic rumors is not denial or silence, but honesty and confidence. Halle Berry. Halle Berry has long been celebrated as one of Hollywood's most beautiful and talented actresses. From winning the Academy Award for Monsters Ball, the first black woman to do so, to starring in blockbuster franchises like X-Men and John Wick, her career spans decades of trailblazing performances. But with fame came endless speculation about her appearance, especially regarding her nose. Rumors of rhinoplasty began in the 1990s, when comparisons between her early modeling photos and her later acting roles suggested subtle changes. Some observers claimed her nose looked slimmer or more refined, while others argued the differences could be explained by makeup lighting or natural aging. Halle herself has never confirmed any cosmetic work, choosing silence rather than fueling the conversation. Her refusal to address the speculation may have been strategic. Denials often keep gossip alive, while admissions risk overshadowing real accomplishments. By focusing on her acting, Halle managed to keep her career intact and her legacy tied to talent rather than appearance. Still, the whispers never completely faded. Do you think Halle's decision to stay silent about plastic surgery rumors helped protect her career? Or did it leave fans even more curious? At 58, Halle continues to be admired for aging gracefully. Whether her look has been enhanced or is purely natural, the result is the same. She remains one of Hollywood's most enduring icons, proving that dignity and discretion can outlast even the harshest scrutiny. Sammy Sosa. In the late 1990s, Sammy Sosa was one of the most recognizable faces in sports. The Dominican-born slugger became a household name during the epic 1998 home run race against Mark McGwire, blasting 66 homers and electrifying Major League Baseball. His charisma, wide smile, and pride in his roots made him a beloved figure not only in the Dominican Republic, but around the world. Children wore his jersey, adults admired his power at the plate, and his name was synonymous with joy in baseball. But years after retirement, Sammy shocked the world with a transformation few could believe. His once dark complexion had turned dramatically lighter. When photos surfaced at public events, fans thought they were doctored or mistaken. The difference was that stark. Sammy later explained he had been using a skin-lightening cream as part of his skincare routine, which had the unintended effect of bleaching his skin. He insisted it wasn't about rejecting his heritage, but simply a personal choice. The explanation did little to quiet the storm. Critics accused him of self-hatred, while others said he had betrayed the very identity that made him a symbol of Dominican and Latino excellence in sports. The ridicule was harsh, often overshadowing the conversation about his record-breaking career. Do you think Sammy Sosa's transformation was an act of personal freedom, or did it undermine the pride and representation he once brought to millions of fans? The timing couldn't have been worse. Already facing the cloud of steroid allegations that tainted the achievements of his era, Sammy now had to contend with mockery about his looks. Instead of being remembered solely as one of baseball's greatest power hitters, his legacy became inseparable from his altered appearance. Every public sighting reignited the debate, with discussions about his skin tone eclipsing his accomplishments on the field. Of the Sammy Sosa's story shows the fragility of fame. His home runs once brought people together, but his transformation left fans divided, torn between admiration for his athletic legacy and disbelief at how much he had changed. The stories of these stars prove that fame and beauty often come with a heavy price. For some, surgery was a tool of empowerment. For others, it became a painful burden that reshaped how the world saw them. But should we celebrate personal freedom to transform or question the industry pressures that drive such choices? The debate is far from over, and your voice matters. Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you see these changes as liberation or tragedy? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Legends of Black Excellence for more untold stories that spark conversation.